Welcome to the Overland and Sea podcast. Today we are talking about the League Cup game against Brighton. Andrew, Brighton have done very well recently and continued on from last season. Looking at their stats now, they have won 5 games in the Premier League. They beat Luton 4-1, Wolves 4-1, Newcastle 3-1, Man United 3-1, and Bournemouth 3-1. They've only lost 2 games, one in the Premier League, which was 3-1 to West Ham, and they also lost their opening game against AEK Athens 3-2 in the Europa League. Clearly, they like to score goals, which is arguably a worrying factor for us.
Yeah, they've been a good team for a number of years, to be honest. Under Potter, they just didn't score. Like, they just didn't finish the dinner, didn't put the ball in the net. Similar to what we're going through now, but you could see it was there. And I think towards the end of Potter, that slowly turned into more and more goals, and De Zerbi sort of taken to another level. Obviously, Evan Ferguson has done spectacularly well since he's sort of come into the team from the youth setup, and they've bought well. They've got probably now 2 good players in every position, and their starting 11 is up there with the best of them when on the day. So obviously they've shown that by beating some of the teams that you just listed off. West Ham have obviously had quite a good season as well.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean
assuming
the Newcastle game out of those ones really stands out for me because their defensive record last year I think was the best in the league. It was incredible.
yeah.
And they're not an easy team to break down. For them to win 3-1 against them, yeah, that's definitely impressive. United haven't had the best start of the season. Luton, well, it's Luton. And then Wolves, you just don't know what team's going to get up. And then Bournemouth, we couldn't break them down. But no, they are a really good team. They're a very well-run club. They do probably have 2 players for every position now. They do buy intelligently. And De Zerbi is actually getting a lot of credit at the moment, and quite rightly so. What are your thoughts with regards to going into this game? Our starting 11. What do you want to see?
I think we need to build on the last performance. I think there were some positive signs against quite a good team in Aston Villa in terms of chance creation. I don't think the finishing wasn't good enough. I'm hoping that will come and people start gambling more in terms of Jackson gambling on the defender not getting it, and just being ready, more sort of through balls, because we did play a few riskier through balls against Aston Villa and they came off pretty frequently, albeit we were offside for a number of them. But there's some promising signs there, and I think certain players have shown that they deserve more minutes than they have been getting. With that said, I think it will largely be similar on the basis that there's not that many players that are fit to be able to rotate a number of players. So I think my starting 11, I'll do a 4-2-3-1 essentially.
I think we would struggle to play 5 at the back at the moment.
Yeah, true. And maybe that factored in the back of my mind. But so I just stick Sanchez in goal. I don't think he's done terribly other than the nutmeg. I don't know how fit the Petrovic guy is. I don't really feel a need of bringing him into the team this quickly. He's not going to have any understanding of the other centre backs. I don't think Sanchez has done a lot wrong. Obviously, he got nutmegged. He could do with some more confidence. I think more minutes will help him.
Yeah, I
So
don't
saying
think
that,
dropping him right now is going to give him confidence. So I agree.
no, I think you can
And it's one
make a
mistake.
case for we've got multiple goalkeepers. We need to give them some games. I think he would understand that. He was in a rotational role with Brighton. I think they played Jason Steele in cup games, and then Jason Steele sort of took over his place for whatever reason. So yeah, I'll just stick Sanchez in goal. Right back to Zazie because we have no other real options. Centre back partnership of Silva and Colwell for the same reason. We don't really have any options. I think I'd like to see what Ian Maatson can do at left back. Part of my struggles this season is understanding why we're intent on playing three centre backs and one like left back or right back. So I'm hoping we'll see Maatson, although I think it's more likely to be Chilwell.
Yeah, agreed.
Midfield, I would give Big Les a game because I think he deserves a full 90 minutes against a reasonable opposition. I think he's shown that he is capable, and he deserves a chance to. If he's going to be around the club, he deserves a chance to prove that he can play. And I think Carabao Cup is the chance to do that. I think have him as sort of a more sitting player, and then give Enzo the freedom in the double pivot to get involved in the attack. I'd then play Cole Palmer at centre attacking mid. I'd stick Mudryk on one side. And now I'm not sure about who's fit and who's going to be able to play. I think I'll stick Brozier on for whatever minutes he's medically supposed to be doing. I think if he can handle 45 minutes, stick him on at the start. Give him 45 minutes, and whatever happens, we take him off at half time if that's what it needs to be. But I think he needs minutes under his belt to get some match fitness to be in any way helpful off the bench. And then it's just whether Noni is fully fit or whether we end up playing Sterling at right wing. To be honest, I'd give Connor a rest. There's an argument to give Enzo a rest, but I don't think we've got enough players.
For the Villa game.
He is not.
No, I didn't think he was.
I don't know how soon he'll be back. So I'm doing my front line again, fellas. What we're gonna do? We're gonna have Mudryk on the left. Sorry, we're gonna have Cole Palmer on the right. We'll stick Conor Gallagher. He's not getting a rest in centre attacking mid. Play Brozier for 45 minutes up top, and then we'll give David Washington a go in the second half. Why not? He's at the club. He might as well have some minutes up top. See if he can get a goal.
I would like to see Washington play, actually. I just think he's a young Brazilian. There's been a lot of hype about him in Brazil. And sometimes, as we've seen in, previous games and previous clubs, when a youngster comes through, it's all about actually just going out and showing what they can do. So they just go out there and play. So yeah, it'd be good to see him get some minutes because he's been on the bench a couple of times. What would my starting 11 be? Oh well, I completely agree with you with regards to the goalkeeper and the back four. I think it's only right that Big Les get to go. I mean, I'd like to see Enzo playing that number 8 role again rather than, being in the centre attacking midfield position. Ideally, I'd like to see Cole Palmer more in the centre attacking midfield position. I don't know if that's possible unless I play Matson on the right. Do I play Matson on the right? You know what I am? I'm going to play Matson on the right, just to give us something a little bit different. Mudryk on the left, Palmer in the middle, and then I agree with what you're saying for Broja. Start Broja and then bring on Washington in the second half. What do we think Poch will do? I'll be amazed if he does something different with the back four. I know he likes playing Cole at left back.
I think he'll play Chilwell at left back.
But yeah, unless there's something wrong, because I don't know if he's got a little mini knock that they've not wanted to say, which is why he's been coming on as a sub as the last couple of games. But surely,
I think he wants 3 centre backs on. Tactically, I just think he wants 3 centre backs on and doesn't want 2 attacking full backs on. I think that has to be it.
I don't understand why though. I mean, he didn't do that at Spurs. I don't think he did that at PSG. The only thing we've said this before, the only thing that I can see that you benefit from that is height and presence when it comes to set pieces, defending or attacking.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is just the fact that he's injured. But it doesn't. I don't understand. I can understand him having a knock and only being ready. Didn't really want to risk him, and maybe that was the case in the second game. Actually, maybe he still has a knock. They don't want to risk him unless they have to, and because Gusto got sent off, they felt they had to have a back four. But
yeah,
something doesn't feel quite right there. Bear in mind the bloke's vice captain, and the captain's not.
No, I mean exactly. I mean, that's the funny thing. Our captain and our vice captain aren't actually playing at the moment.
Which is not ideal.
But yeah, I think Poch might. I mean, I like to see Poch give Big Les a go. I think for me, I think there's an argument to stick with Caicedo and Enzo, especially as it is Brighton, but then have Palmer at the top. I really want to see Palmer behind the striker. I think he's going to be more effective there. I think in terms of the players that we've got that can play, I think he will be the most effective player there.
Yeah, I think the other option is he rests Enzo and plays Connor.
That crossed my mind. That did cross my mind.
Enzo's looked leggy since the international break because he played all of Argentina's games. I think he played all the minutes, and they were playing at weird times compared to the British time zone. So he hasn't looked 100% since he's come back. So he might want to rest him and have Connor play the 8, have Caicedo or Big Les.
Well, the other thing with that is if Connor doesn't play, who's captain?
Thiago Silva, probably.
I imagine so.
I do think it's weird, the reluctance to give him the captaincy. But I think they've come out.
Thiago?
I think they've come out and explained that he is a leader on the pitch. He doesn't need the armband.
Yeah, he did say that. He did say he's already a leader on the pitch. He doesn't need the armband to prove that. And I think also they are trying to build for the future, which is why they've given it to somebody younger, which I get. But personally, for me, I still would have made him captain. And no offense to Reece, but I would have then made Reece vice and just had a bit more I don't know, mentoring to go with it. But then again, maybe they've already set that up regardless of who's got the armband. But I'm not unhappy that Reece was made captain. My only concern was if he gets injured, which is what happened. Because then our main player or our main captain isn't playing.
I think the idea is though that we don't have a lot of natural leaders in the team, so we need to identify the ones that we think could develop into leaders and give them the platform to build that. Because otherwise, we're just not going to have any meaningful leadership at all. I think there's certain players in there that are also absolute hotheads and
But yeah, who do you think is a
a
hothead?
bit sulky. So, well, I think Enzo's a hothead. Jackson's a hothead.
Jackson's definitely a hothead. I actually don't think Enzo's a hothead. I think
I think
I
he is.
think he gets annoyed, and quite rightly so. But I don't think he's a hothead. I don't remember a situation for us or for Argentina where he's done a stupid foul.
Wasn't he the one that smashed the ball at one of the Netherlands players? And there was a big fight. I thought that was him.
Oh, do you know what? I'll research that afterwards. But I didn't think it was. Maybe it was. I don't remember hearing anything about that. Because I do think he's a leader.
Big player at the time.
I know that Poch is concerned about certain aspects of his personality, and he has definitely hinted towards that. But I think the biggest thing I've heard is his English still isn't great. Which, yeah, fair. You're not going to make someone captain if their English isn't great in an English league. It's fair enough. That's like making me captain in the Polish league. No fucking point.
That and your shit at football, but either way.
I was taking that out of the equation, but yeah, fair point. Can you see Poch not playing Jackson, not playing Sterling from the 11s that we've just given?
Well, he hasn't got the option of playing Jackson, so I suppose your question is...
Why do I keep saying that? I don't know why.
Will he not play Sterling on the basis that we don't have Jackson, so he might feel like he has to play Sterling? I
mean, I can't even see him giving Enzo a rest. And I mean that because I think Enzo is pivotal. Yeah, all right, he didn't have the best game for us for Villa. But again, he's been one of, if not our best player consistently.
Yeah, I think part of me thinks that after the performance against Wimbledon, he won't want to change it too much because we weren't great against Wimbledon at all. There was some definite improvement when these players came on, but I don't think that's necessarily what we're suggesting. I think we've only really put in a few players that have played some minutes this season in Premier League games and games that mean something, but just haven't had that many minutes and probably deserve a chance to show what they can do.
Yeah. I'm worried about the midfield if we go for the 4-2-3-1, and if Palmer, this is just obviously my 11. If Palmer is at the centre attacking midfield position, or even Gallagher's there, you've dropped. No. Basically, I'm worried about the midfield if we change too much. Like putting Big Les in, and then was it you said what was your midfield again? You put Big Les in, Enzo, and then you put Gallagher 10, and then you put Palmer on the right, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Palmer's looked better when he's out wide.
I think he's got to play.
Yeah, but I think he's looked better when he's on the right, and I think I'd rather have him playing on the right.
Yeah,
Ian Maatsen in his natural position. I want players playing their natural position if they can. I don't think playing players when we're already struggling.
Well, Maatsen didn't play left back during the pre-season.
He played left back for Burnley though. It's his natural position. I think.
No, I agree with what you're saying. I'm just saying that he has not played left back for us.
No, fine, but I don't think that because he's been given minutes in a different position because we have two left backs that in theory should be in front of him in Chilwell and Cucurella. Admittedly, I don't think either of us would put Cucurella in front of him.
Well, he's also got Cole.
The amount of money we spent on him. Yeah, I just think I wouldn't play Ian Maatsen in a position that he's not completely familiar with. Could see him maybe playing left wing as a slightly more defensive option, but also relatively good in attack as well. I wouldn't stick him on the right purely for that basis that you're kind of forcing him to cut inside.
Yeah.
which I don't think is. I just don't think that's going to be his natural game. Bear in mind that he's played on the left and will be used to either taking up a position that's more narrow on the left or going out wide. Yeah, I only see Matson playing if Chilwell does have a secret knock or something that we're not aware of. I think he will want to play a strong team because we are getting in a position of we need to start showing some performances and picking up some points and showing that we can score.
Well, especially with the fixtures that we've got coming up. I mean, it gets a lot trickier now, especially as we've said we should have earned a lot more points by now than we have, and the next month and a half, some big teams we've got to play. Yeah, no, fair enough. So, well, in that case, then, if he does play Big Les, which I think is the right decision because he deserves minutes. If he is going to play Conor Gallagher, I don't think he plays Conor Gallagher in. I think he plays Conor Gallagher in the 8. He'll put Enzo in the centre attacking midfield, and then he'll have Mudryk on the left, Palmer on the right, and I presume Brozier up front. Or if he doesn't want to risk him at the beginning, he might then have to start Washington and then bring on Brozier later.
Yeah.
Because I think
we're going to struggle to be wrong with this because I think we've basically said everyone that's fit might play.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the situation that we're in. It's more. It's not a question. I don't actually think it's a question of who's playing. I think it's more of a question of where they're going to play. In a lot of cases.
Yeah.
But I don't. I think if he's played Enzo at centre attacking midfield for the last couple of games, unless the team turn around to him and say, actually, we think it worked better with him as the number 8, I don't see him changing Connor and Enzo around unless they switch. They drop in and drop out and both play different roles, just keep teams guessing. I don't know. So
I think I need Enzo to turn around and go, I want freedom, but I don't want to be 10. I want to be 8, but I want freedom.
And I don't want to be the holding
to do that. So
yeah. Well, he's wearing the number 8 shirt, for fuck's sake. So, yeah, I think Poch is going to go with the back 4 that we said. And I think it'll be Big Les. Hopefully it'll be Enzo just slightly further forward than him, / next to him with a free roll. And Connor in the middle with Palmer on the right, Mudryk on the left, and then I think it's a toss of a coin. It all depends on how fit Brozier is and how much of a risk it is to start him versus bringing him on again.
Yeah, and we've said multiple times that the medical team aren't up to scratch at the minute and been causing problems. So, yeah, I think if he's fit for 45 minutes, it'd be good for him to play 45 minutes, but it's unlikely that he is.
Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to say that if he is a bit of a risk, you do start him, and in that way you can bring on Washington when you need him, rather than starting Washington and going, right, after I'm going to give Bro 45 minutes, and then he gets injured.
But he's also not against playing Sterling up top, which he could well start with and bring Brozier in later on, but
I can hope not.
My preferred option.
Oh, if he does that, I think that'd be just too painful to watch.
Maybe. What do you think the score's going to be, Matt?
I mean, just looking at those scores again, 4-1, 4-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1. It doesn't bode well, does it?
You look like you're going to admit defeat and say that the Brighton are going to win this one, Matt.
I am. They are. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not being funny. They are good. At one point, people were saying they could get top 4. I mean, I just don't think people realize our situation and obviously like the complete difference where Brighton are. I mean, they've only lost to West Ham. I mean, the Athens game, I don't know who played, but again, it's a new thing for them, Europe and all that. So I've got 2-0 in my head if we're lucky. Because again, unless we're going to do something different, unless we have a player that has a standout performance and does bring something a little bit different, if they haven't really played before, for us before, like a Broja or a Washington, or Mudryk turns something on, or Palmer turns something on the right, or I just really struggle to see where the goals are going to come from. I mean, I said that last episode, well, for the game before Aston Villa, and I still thought it was going to be a high scoring game for some stupid reason. So I do think we're going to lose.
We need some belief. I mean, this is part of the problem.
Don't get me wrong. I'm gonna cheer.
Well.
No, I'm gonna cheer, and I'm gonna will them on. I'm gonna
You're
shout.
not gonna believe, and that's the problem.
No, mate, it's football. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. If you want my honest opinion, I don't like saying it. My honest opinion is we're expected to lose. Surely, my honest opinion is we're expected to lose. And also, like I said, this is not an easy team to play against. To be fair, we did beat them in the pre-season, and that was 4-3. But that was with a fully fit squad, and it was pre-season.
Well, not fully fit, but we weren't missing.
We didn't have any injuries at that point, realistically.
Let's face it, they were shite in that pre-season game.
They were shite in that pre-season.
And we're walking around, and we won't play that.
And they still scored 3 goals against us.
We won't play that, Brighton. I'm just for my own sake, so that I can try and convince myself to actually turn up to this game.
Yeah, where's the belief, Andrew? Where's the positive? Just so I can try and get myself to the game. All I'm gonna say, I mean, Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna go with a 0-0. And then we will win on penalties. I'm praying that Robert Sanchez has the game of his life against his old club, shows them what they're missing, has 15 saves, including 3 penalties saved, and by some miracle we managed to score a couple of pens.
Just on that note, I don't think it's going to be a whitewash. The reason I've said 2 goals is because it just seems that no matter what we do, teams will score against us. They will get a goal. And because Brighton, I think, are very good, they are clinical. Actually, do you know what? I hope it's not Evan Ferguson playing. Because if it's Evan Ferguson playing, I think we're in real trouble. No offense to João Pedro, but I just think he's a clinical.
No, I mean,
I think Ferguson's better than João Pedro. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but I mean, they've only got Matoma against Dizazi. Easily lock him away in a box. That's no problem there at all. To be fair, I think Evan Ferguson probably matches off against our strikers better than João Pedro does.
You got Solly March on the other wing.
He just shouldn't be good at football. I don't understand how in this Brighton team he turns into something great. He's a player that should have been relegated with Leicester last season. It doesn't really make sense to me that he's in a team that's high flying, but now I've said that he'll score. I'm assuming Lamperty will play, so he's probably due a goal against his old club because players like doing that. Look, we're in for a caution, and if we were scoring goals and not particularly playing,
that's the thing, isn't it? And that's the main point to why I said it.
But you can't see
yourself score a goal.
You see a mistake in it. It's difficult.
And I think that's part of our issue with the mistakes and stuff. I think everyone is still panicking like we did last year, although we've got a pretty much completely different set of players, where they are so worried about that one goal going in. Because I think their confidence level is so low at the moment where they go, we don't have a goal in us.
Yeah.
which is why I would love to see, like I said, I would love to see Broja get a good half in him if he's able to do it. I would love to see what Washington can do because he's an unknown. He's an unknown for us and he's an unknown for them. You know,
I'm gonna say this
and if
about
he can stay, and
Washington.
you know what? He's quick. If he can stay on side, which is the biggest thing that I want to see from this game, who knows what could happen? But
I'm gonna say this because it works so well with big layers. I would say that Washington has probably the second worst highlight reel I have ever seen on YouTube. Bang average.
he's barely he only played like a handful of games in the Brazilian league before all
The
this hype.
first clip
And
of it is him 2-footing someone in the knee. So I don't know whether that was just some terrible editing on behalf of the person that made the YouTube video, or he's an absolute tripe. Admittedly, Big Les looked absolute tripe on YouTube and has come in and done a pretty good job so far. So hopefully his YouTube videos just deceive and he's Neymar reincarnate.
My gut feeling says if anything happens, it's because Broja is fitter than we all expect,
and
he's able to, work something in the box, whether it's link up play and feed it back to somebody, or he can actually get a header on target. He didn't get that many opportunities in when he came on, to be fair to him. He had 12 minutes, 11 minutes? Oh no, there was a fair amount of extra time, to be fair. So he actually had about 20 minutes. But at that point we couldn't really get on the ball that well. It was just breakaway opportunities. Or, I said Washington comes on and he's able to work some magic. Some Brazilian magic, which would be nice to see.
Yeah. I think all that's left to do is to see on the night.
Yeah. Like, share, subscribe, follow.
Notification
comment,
bell.
Notification bell. Yeah. And stay tuned for the post-game analysis.